Okay, so for our next set of problems, we have to find at least 4 solutions to this linear equation, 2x plus 1y equals 2. So what I want you to do is go ahead, make your table, x, 2x plus 1y equals 2, y. I want you to find your 4 solutions. I want you to plot them on the graph. When you are done plotting them on the graph, come back to see if you've plotted them correctly. I want you to check your graph against my graph. That means you may have to pause this and look at the points that I put on the graph. Okay, hopefully you've done what you needed to do to make sure that you got that correct. Let's take a look at the next part of this problem. So in this problem, we are given another linear equation. We're given 0x plus 1y equals 2, and we have to find 4 solutions. I've already chosen how to lay out our table and what numbers we're plugging in, so hopefully you can take a moment. You can pause if you want to copy that down. So we're going to get right to this. So if I'm plugging in -3 for x, then I know I'm doing -3, whoops, sorry about that. I know I'm doing -3 times 0 plus y equals 2. That's 2 zoomed out for you, I'm sorry. And we should also know that anything times 0 is 0, so we end up with just y equaling 2. So I have this point, -3, 2. Coming back, I plug in 2. 2 times 0 plus y equals 2. Again, we should know that anything times 0 is 0, so that's gone. We end up with y equals 2. I think by now most of you, the majority of you, are probably seeing the pattern here. If I plug in 5 times 0 plus y equals 2. Anything times 0 is 0, so that's gone. We're left with, you guessed it, y equals 2. And our last one, if we plug in 8 here, 8 times 0 plus y equals 2. Anything times 0 is 0, so y equals 2. So this gives us our 4 points here. Okay, so putting these 4 points on the graph, connect these with a line here. That did not stay. Okay, we end up with that orange line there. Okay, orange. Okay, this is a horizontal line, so let's label that. This is a horizontal line that goes through where y equals 2. So hopefully you kind of saw the pattern that was happening here based on what you saw in the first problem. But I want to look at the equations again because the equations are a little bit different. 2x plus y equals 2, and our second equation was 0x plus y equals 2. Okay, go ahead, think and write about what are the differences between these equations that could have caused that difference in our graph. I'm hoping you pinpointed the 2 and the 0 as the difference. Okay, if we have 0 x's, that means the x does not matter. It means that x can be whatever it wants to be. Y is always going to do its own thing, which is y is always going to be 2. Okay, so we end up with this kind of smaller equation if we get rid of the x, because anything times 0 is 0. We end up with a small equation, y equals 2. And we can see from the graph that this gives us a horizontal line. At y equals 2. And what I mean by this at y equals 2 is I mean that it's actually going through the graph right here. It's going through the y-axis at the point 0, 2. Okay?